I met a jazz photographer after Art Basel in 2017, who came to our space and said, I would love to do some work with you guys. Now he's doing a different kind of work. And so he showed me that first. And then he said, well, I also took some photos when I was a teenager in Italy. I'm like, okay, let's see them. And there they were. And at that time, I really didn't know hardly anything. I knew hardly nothing about jazz. But the photographs touched me so much. And the question was like, when were these taken? In the 60s and early 70s. So immediately what I thought is, my God, this is during the civil rights movement. And these were taken in Italy. So I knew I had to do something. So I asked them could I have like 3 or 4 months so that I can become a semi-expert in jazz, which I then watched everything from Ken Burns' entire jazz series, which is amazing. If you haven't watched it, is incredible. To, all these people, their stories, Louis Armstrong, John Coltrane. So I met him in December. So I said, I'm going to do like 10 pieces from here to May. And I would like to exhibit this in Art New York with you and do just jazz and see what happens. Because no one had seen these photographs in the US at all. So when we did this exhibit in New York, it was overwhelming. The amount of people that were in our space, there were people moved. Some were like even crying. It was incredible. So I knew then that this is bigger than myself. And since there, the idea of I have to do something that is mobile, that it doesn't have to wait till an exhibit of, December or whatever. So that was 2018 when I first exhibited them in New York. So then last year I spoke with him. He lives in Milan, and I said, can I just come and let's put this in a book form. So I was in Milan from mid-June till November of last year. And it was work, but it was one thing building on the next. Looking at boxes, there's letters in the book of original letters that I found of some of these musicians talking about the Jim Crow laws, and it was incredible. So every day it's almost like I found something else, and just inspired by their lives, inspired by these photographs, which are so incredible, and then it just kind of started coming together. And I have to tell you, when I finished it, it was like, oh my God, it was better than I had expected. And then when people started looking at it and their response, and still today, their response to the book, it shocks me. I don't know, it seems like I didn't even do the book. The book, I was inspired by them completely. And so the book for sure is I consider one of the best works I've ever done. I wanted to bring these musicians home, and I wanted to bring them home as they should have left home, as they should have lived home, not having to go through the back door to play, not having to stay at somebody's house instead of the hotel they were playing in. So my emphasis was on the Black musicians, also as maybe something of pride, of huge pride. Before the movie came out of Black Panther, you know, the youth of color in this country need to know that they come from greatness. Greatness. People, I mean, really not just basketball players, and that's great too, but this music, so American, so truly, it's just our art form. And so they need to know this story. They need to be aware of these people who had the worst of circumstances of how they were treated, and yet their talent and their persistence and their love of music was bigger than that.